Well, in 2005, state lawmakers put a 5-year moratorium on out-of-state water sales, a moratorium that eventually led to a lawsuit being filed in federal court. Now, just last month, the district judge hearing the case dismissed parts of the lawsuit filed by a North Texas water district, a move that on the surface may seem to have ended the battle over water rights, but most likely just postponed it. In our continuing look at Oklahoma's water resources, we focus on the issue of whose thirst will be first. With the population closing in on 6 million, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex has become a thirsty giant.
Fort Worth is the fastest growing city above 500,000 population in the country. Tarrant County is in the top 5 fastest growing counties in the country. So we've had tremendous population growth in this area.
Jim Oliver heads the Tarrant County Regional Water District, an area that stretches from below Dallas across Fort Worth into North Texas and in desperate need of Oklahoma water.
So there's no more water available in this part of the country. Dallas has developed, we've developed all the lakes, there's just nothing else available.
Which is why the Texas group filed a lawsuit to gain access to what they believe is excess water flowing out of our state.
But Oklahoma has more water than it can use or is ever likely to use. You could even say the state's glass is overflowing.
In a promotional DVD, the Texas group shows how they want to tap into 2 separate water sources, the Kiamichi watershed and the Cache Creek and Beaver Creek water basins.
I don't know that you'd say water is scarce, but we really don't have an abundance of water.
Driving around his district, Oklahoma lawmaker Don Arms knows this area's water resources firsthand.
And right there on my farm in southwest Oklahoma is a little creek that feeds into the bigger creek, which is what we call Cache Creek, and that flows down to the Red River and into Texoma eventually. I watch water go past me at my house all the time, and I don't benefit from it a bit. I just watch it go by, and then when it's done tearing out my water gaps, I go back in the creek and put my waders on and try to fix the water gaps to keep the cattle in, and then the creek goes dry this time of year. So, I mean, we just watch water go by, and Texas has noticed that, and they say, hey, let us buy that excess water. And we're saying, what excess water?
Based on science, no, we do not have surplus water in the state of Oklahoma. There's not any hydrologist models or groundwater geologist models from either the Corps of Engineers or private sector to show that we have surplus water.
Bob Jackman is a vocal opponent of water sales to Texas. A trained petroleum geologist, Jackman has served as an expert witness on geological matters in state and federal court and believes any water sales out of state are just short-sighted.
The dollars could be potentially huge. And it sounds like an easy answer to our current budget problems, but we'd be selling out our future, which would be much more valuable. The utilization of the water here in the state would be much better if it was kept here. One of our big underdeveloped industry is recreation in southern Oklahoma lakes. We'll take the Texas money that way. That's where our big money is, not selling water to them, but enhancing our reservoirs to make them fisherman friendly and recreation friendly, and then let the Texans come up here and we'll take their money and thank them very much.
Fort Worth isn't asking for much water. The most that could be taken would be less than 7% of the Gulf-bound water that flows into the Red River annually. And in times of drought, Oklahoma will always come first. Fort Worth will only get leftover Gulf-bound water.
Yet despite assurances by Tarrant County that their interests lie in only water that already flows out of the state, earlier this year, Oklahoma lawmakers passed House Bill 1483, which requires legislative approval for any out-of-state water usage. Representative Dewitt is the bill's author. Are you concerned that the future of Oklahoma water may not solely be in the hands of Oklahomans?
Well, I hope that it's in our hands. I know with the lawsuit going on and Texas, Tarrant County wanting our water, that there's a lot of folks that are concerned with it, and I hope that we will be able to create our own destiny when it comes to our water needs. We've got to take care of the needs of water for our people before we see water flow out of state.
Dewitt was one of several Oklahoma lawmakers that spent 2 days this fall examining Oklahoma's water resources, an issue the Speaker of Oklahoma's House of Representatives says will only grow in importance.
Water is well, not only important to Oklahoma, it's important to any state, and it's so important because it's, number one, it's a basic need, got to have it, and number two, it's a great economic development tool. If you have plenty of water, I think you're more attractive to potential business outside the state.
Growth that appears to be centered south of the Red River. In a study published this fall, OSU's Center for Applied Economic Research projects a North Texas population explosion of 4 million people within the next 10 years.
Southern Oklahoma and the Metroplex economies are very much tied together. There's a lot of people who live in Oklahoma, work here, shop here. There's a lot of people who recreate in Oklahoma and Texas, and if the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex does not grow because they don't have an adequate water supply, Southern Oklahoma is going to suffer.
Making this proposal, in the eyes of Texas, less about long-held rivalries and more about a shared economic success, just using Oklahoma water. Well, the general manager of the Tarrant Regional Water District in Fort Worth says they fully intend to proceed through legal avenues to gain access to water in Oklahoma. Meanwhile, a statewide study of water supplies and future needs is underway, but it will not be completed until 2011. Now, if you'd like to see more on Whose Thirst Will Be First, we do have a web-only feature about the competition for water between rural and urban areas. All you need to do is go to our website at okhorizon.com and click on Value Added.